What if I told you that making $22,000 a month with an AI business would be boring as What? You're telling me there's no way to make a ton of money overnight with some AI agent shadow dropshipping growth operating BS? Well, 2 years ago, I was exactly where you are. I was stuck in a loop. Every guru online was preaching about some AI agent or AI automation and all these complex automations that look really great in a YouTube video, but never actually translated to making money. At least I didn't, at least. Then something changed, and I shortly after had my first ever 9,997 month, and I'll forever remember it because it wasn't 10K. And shortly after, I had my first $22,000 month. And ever since then, it's about 20 to 30, and that made me realize that there's a version of this AI agency business that actually makes good money. And more importantly, makes good money with recurring revenue. And it's embarrassingly simple. And I know that's not what you came here to hear, but it is what you need to hear. So let me just show you. You see, these clients aren't paying me because I built something impressive that looks great on a screen. I built them something that works every single month without them ever having to think about it, right? And that's the boring version of this business. And no, I'm not going to do that thing where I stand in front of some kind of rented car in a crazy location and tell you that this happened overnight. I just turned 20 yesterday and I don't have an expensive watch or a crazy penthouse, and I reinvest almost every single dollar that I make because I plan on being here for the long term. But I've been building this business for about 2 years, and stay with me because I'm going to show you the boring reality of how I'm actually making anywhere between $22,000 and $30,000 this month. I think this month was around, so far it's like been $24,000 and it's March 21st. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 things. One is total transparency. I'm going to show you the clients I have. I'm going to show you the services that I offer to them and every single dollar that I make from them. 2, the couple of boring services that make up the 22K and the actual reason why my clients stay for years instead of months and how I'm able to charge recurring revenue with an AI agency service. And 3, what the first 90 days look like when you're actually starting today with nothing but a laptop. Maybe you have a couple $1,000s to get into it, whatever it is. Let's get into it. Number 1, total transparency. Now, I've made a couple $100,000 online in the last 2 or so years, and 90% of that money has come directly from home improvement contractors, but more specifically, roofers. Now, what I actually do for them is a full-fledged marketing suite, okay? I don't do your typical one-off AI agency products because there's no recurring revenue. Honestly, like, it takes effort to get clients. I don't know if you have clients or you don't have clients, but you know how much effort and sheer power it takes to actually get someone to say yes to you, especially with minimal experience. And it's very, very important that you have a service where you can charge anywhere between like $3,000 to $4,000 a month per client instead of having to constantly chase more and more clients. By offering what I offer, I'm able to actually charge recurring revenue, which is unheard of in the AI agency space. Everyone's doing these one-time projects, these custom developer projects, and all of these things that don't scale because every single month you're back at zero again, right? And that is not a scalable business by any means. So over my time in the past 2 years, I've probably worked with at least 60 roofers in the entire United States. I specifically work in the US market because there is the most money there. And I've worked with all kinds of roofers all over the states, right? I've worked with probably at least one in every single state, sometimes multiple in a state. Like right now in Georgia, I've got like 3 roofers, in North Carolina, Florida, Michigan, all over the US, right? I've got tons of roofers and I signed them through various ways, but I started originally with cold SMS. So I basically ran a cold SMS campaign, reached out to some small sub niches with a smart strategy and basically got them on calls, closed them for, high ticket deals. But here's what I actually offer to them is I run targeted AI ads on their behalf and use an AI backend to turn the leads that come through those ads into more leads, appointments, and revenue for these businesses. Now, when you're talking to a contractor, right, they've got lots of money. They're these rich business owners and they know they need to implement AI, but they have no idea how. And that's where you can come in. And that's where I came in because these business owners will make, $20,000 to $30,000 for a high ticket roof replacement. It's like there is a lot of money there and they can afford spending a little bit more on a service, but more importantly, a marketing company of some kind. This is the biggest needle mover, I believe, right now to make a ton of money. There's all these drop shipping and AI shadow BS and all this random stuff out there nowadays, growth operating, but it's like, what makes the most sense? Selling a Chinese product across the sea or marketing for a company and proving yourself by doing the work and charging pay per results? You not only learn that, but you learn sales, you learn fulfillment, you learn client delivery, you learn how to run ads. Like, I think that this by far is the best thing that I've ever seen online for someone to get into this type of thing. And it makes complete sense as well, because you can like do the front end work to get the clients and then let AI do the back end work and keep the fulfillment strong. Now, let me tell you a story. So I've got a client that I signed about 2 years ago, some roofer in Georgia. And basically they have paid me like literally $50,000 alone. Not even to the ads. They've paid $30,000 to the ads, but $50,000 to me, not my company, literally my bank account, because I have such a small team and high margins. And that right there and that distinction is everything. And that company right there is worth like a ton of money to me, and honestly anywhere between like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And that's because they view me as a subscription service. These companies use all of these services like Home Advisor and Angie Leads and pay thousands of dollars a month for bad leads. Why can't you figure out how to get them good leads and charge more money for it? That's what I thought, and that's what I did. That right there is where all of my money has come from. All right, I've like experienced so many cool things. I've dropped out of like university. I went to Dubai and Greece and all these cool places in Europe. I just lived in Spain for 6 months. Fortunately, I got kicked out, but talk about that later. I was just in South Florida for a couple weeks and in Florida for a month or two. Like all of these opportunities have come to me because I took action on this, and those are the main services I sell them. In my opinion, if you want someone to pay you anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 a month, like my clients do, you need to cover the entire marketing suite and have your entire service where you're providing leads, turning those leads into appointments, helping them even with the sales process just so they can close more of these deals. And you would be shocked by the amount of impact that you can have on these businesses. Yes, you can make some good money and that's great, but more importantly, you can help change these guys' lives. The amount of contractors I've seen that literally like work insane hours, have an insane team, and literally can't get home before their kid goes to bed just because they're so busy is insane. And by offering them this and by helping them with this, you can get them more leads, more jobs, and yes, you get a fair cut of it. But like if you added $100,000 a month to the top line of a company, why can't you charge 5 to 10K for that a month? It's completely reasonable. It's completely doable because a lot of these guys don't understand the online space like me and you. So number 2, the couple of boring services that make up all of that 22K and the actual reason why clients stay for years instead of months. Now, like I said earlier, I run ads with AI. So ads and AI, that is what makes up my AI agency. And the boring services that I offer to them is more specifically meta ads. Now, not just any meta ads, but I use services like Sora and Ad Labs to basically create AI made ads of homeowner testimonials and just really well represented ads of their company. You know, because anyone can pop up a creative on Facebook and be like, we'll get you a roof replacement for 5K, and then they're, oh my god, you get a $20 cost per lead, you make a ton of money. But it's not ethical, right? We're trying to help these companies. We're not trying to just exploit them for making more money. And I basically offer paper results. So I charge them around 2 to 3K up front on the call, which I've got plenty of sales calls on my channel that you can check out and listen to. And after that, every single lead that comes through, I get $50. Now, I can even show you what this looks like tangibly because I can just show you one right here. These right here are all lead notifications from a client. And this client has paid me $50 for every single one of those. And there's thousands on there. And yes, they could charge for every single lead. And the truth is I could charge per appointment and stuff, but I want to make sure that I'm charging for what I'm actually getting them. The truth is not all of those are going to close into jobs, but by lowering it to $50, at least I get a cut for everything that I bring in, because without me, none of that would be there, right? And that usually ends up being a healthy percentage of what they end up making with me, which at the end of the day, that's really the only thing that matters. Now, the reason why these clients stay for me for years and why most agencies struggle to even keep clients for like 1 or 2 months or even get clients in the first place is because they view me as a subscription service. Okay, they don't view me as a one-on-one direct agency and a marketing partner. They literally view me as a subscription service that they pay for every single month. So because of that, I'm able to package my services in a way where I don't need to constantly communicate with them. I don't need to text them twice a day. I don't need to, it sounds bad. I promise this sounds terrible, but I literally haven't talked to some of my clients in more than a year and they still pay me every single week because they just expect it. They're like, oh, okay, here's the weekly bill to the ads and here's the weekly bill to Owen, right? And that's the case for so many of my guys. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get into a position like this overnight. Like obviously you're not. It honestly will take longer than a couple of months. Like it took me around 6 to 10 months to sign my first client. And even that was like $100 client, which I don't recommend, by the way. But the point is, it's not easy to start one of these businesses. And that is the perfect segue into number 3, which is what the first 90 days of this, starting this business and actually getting it off the ground actually looks like. Because the truth is, because this is probably the best opportunity right now in the market, knowing that the AI space is growing to $1 trillion opportunity, there's a market cap is huge. Every business is trying to implement it, but nobody knows how. It's easier than a lot of other businesses, but the problem is that it takes so many skills. It's not just high ticket sales where you need to learn sales and you're good. You need to learn marketing. sales, appointment booking, fulfillment, service delivery, client success. Like, you have to learn the entire thing, which is incredibly overwhelming for 90% of people, which is good for you if you're one of the small people like I was, where you can take that and be like, good. That means that 90% of the people are going to quit. And if you don't, you'll see the results on the other side. But the first 90 days of starting one of these businesses looks like this. You are going to basically watch my 10-hour free video, which if you don't, it is the perfect jump start into any kind of business like this. You'll learn all the fundamentals. You'll set up the entire business, get everything that you need to get going, ready, and ultimately just learn the fundamentals of how to actually sell, how to fulfill, what to fulfill, how to make these ads, all that good stuff. And that video is in the description. It's an 11-hour free video. Enjoy it. Okay. It took me 6 fucking months to make that video. It'll change your life. I promise. Only if you let it though. And once that's watched, which should take maybe a couple days, after that, it's all about setting up the biz, which, believe it or not, isn't as hard as people think. Okay. You don't need an LLC. You don't need all this fancy stuff, because the truth is that you probably won't get a client payment for quite some time. And that's okay. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and overpromise and be like, oh my God, bro, you're going to make 10K a month in 30 days. Like, you're not. I'm sorry, but I'm being realistic here. Like, the first 90 days of starting one of these businesses is painful and it's hard. You're going to watch that video. You're going to try to get HTTP verified so you can send messages. You're going to try to book appointments with businesses that have been burnt, and you're going to try to sell to them, and it's going to be hard. And the truth is that, like, it's not supposed to be easy. So enjoy it. But the point is that once you've taken around 30 sales calls with business owners and you figured out how to kind of perfect your pitch and offer the outcome to them, which is more specifically what will help you close them, because these guys don't care about AI. Like, yes, you're using AI to fulfill in almost every single way, but don't even mention it, to be honest, because the truth is that, like, they care about the outcome. They want more jobs. That's all they want. I can't believe I've gotten this at, like, so many times before, but like, I'll say like, oh, I'm going to run an entire marketing campaign, get really good creatives in there for you and do all this stuff and build you a GoHighLevel backend that calls leads and texts them. And they're like, no, I don't want any of that. I just want more jobs. Yeah, it's going to get you more jobs, but like, you need to position it in a way where that makes sense to them. And that just comes from getting more experience. So you'll learn these skills through doing, but more importantly, you will only like make progress and actually start making this happen once you take action. Okay. I've seen so many people come and go through the space. You know, people come making these videos and doing all this stuff, and nobody sticks around. And I think the reason why is because nobody really understands how difficult it is. And I want to set those expectations properly. Yes, I have guys crushing it. I can show you my Slack channel right here where I have, you know, some one-on-one clients in my program, you know, signing like 3 clients here, 2 clients there. I mean, these guys are crazy. Close another client, 3 clients closed today. Like, people are really crushing it because they have the working systems. But the only way you can get the working systems is if you capitalize on the opportunity, build the skills so you can actually leverage them. So in the first 90 days, you're going to be setting up that business. You're going to be booking appointments. You're going to be dialing like a madman, calling businesses, getting rejected like crazy. And this is what separates the losers from the winners. So if you're starting to with nothing today but a laptop, it'll help if you have a budget, because then you can kind of buy information. You can speed the process up. You can basically, like, you know, take some time to just like get through all of the stuff in the beginning that you have to go through, because there was a, you know, a 6-month or 8-month period for me at least where I knew nothing and I had to figure everything out from scratch because I was ignorant and said, oh no, I would never buy information. I'm smart. I can figure this out. I needed it. So as soon as I bought information though, it was much easier. It was so fast because, you know, you have the working systems. You don't have to figure them out from scratch. And it's really hard to build working systems like building an appointment booking machine or booking tons of appointments or, you know, having a winning sales process. It's really hard to figure that out with no experience. It just is. So that's the how those first 90 days will look. Usually it's like a couple days setting up software and setting up a phone number, getting it verified and all that good stuff. Then it's usually setting outbound for like 50 to 60, 70 days and getting like, you know, a couple appointments booked in, learning your sales process out. And it's usually you sign like maybe a client or 2, or maybe you even don't. But usually the reason is because you didn't do enough volume, and then you up your volume, and then before you know it, you actually start to see some results that you want to see. So yeah, if you want to see that 11-hour free video in the description, feel free to. I promise it'll probably be the most valuable video you've ever watched in your entire life. And without further ado, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. So have a good day.